Welcome everyone to our Thanksgiving Day special. I'm super excited for this one, not only because we have a former defending champ with us today, Zachary, but also because we have my best friend James and Don Rat, who is quickly becoming one of my favorite people in the league. Really excited to have these three guys with me. It should be a great show today. First off, I had no idea that I had a chance at winning last night. I had kind of already counted myself out. Robert Woods was clutch for me. Came in a big way. Very excited to get that win last night. Not only that, I really wanted Rhett to win. If Rhett had won, we would have had 7 people that were 5-6, and that just would have been utter chaos. He needed Tom Brady to not get that interception and be able to kick a field goal or at least an extra point, and he could have won. I'm super annoyed, but it also kind of put it in perspective. Guys, we have an amazing league. I love our league. Everyone has a chance to win, and except for Eric, and I think that's great. It's super cool. I'm very excited. I love having you guys, especially. I love having the Undertaker season that Zach is going through and making this push for the playoffs. So thank you guys for keeping this league fun and exciting. Thank you everyone for not just wasting anyone's time, and the better you play, the better it makes us play. So really, I want to appreciate or show my appreciation and gratitude for all the people in the league this year. Seriously, still many people making a playoff push. It's going to be fun and exciting. Even the top 4 positions right now, being myself, Drew, James, and Mass, are not necessarily safe. So we'll see what happens in the last couple of weeks. But that being said, let's get into some of the awards. So worst manager goes to Alex. Zach, how do you feel not getting that award this week?
Pretty positively, I guess. Feels good not to have the worst manager. I'm a little disappointed that Alex got it, considering he's sort of my protege and I taught him everything he knows. But to be fair, my other protege has the best record in the league, Donahue Mass. So, but it feels good not to be that manager, the worst manager this week.
Is that true? I thought I had the best record. I'm 8-3, man.
Oh, well.
I mean, it's the best record. 8-3 is the best record.
Sorry, best fantasy football player besides myself. Let me correct it. There you go.
I guess I, in my mind, thought Don Rat would have lost this week, and so I just already put him at 7-4. So obviously, wishful thinking didn't come to fruition. Zach, you got biggest blowout this week against our co-host James. James, how does that make you feel, knowing that you were utterly annihilated by the man who you claimed was going to be wearing a license plate this year?
I'm somewhat humiliated, to be honest. When you told me Zach was going to be on the show, I tried to fake doing an interview, so I didn't have to show up. But you guys persisted, and now I'm here, and I have to face Zach, and it's a very humbling feeling for me. But you know what? Good job, Zach. You proved me wrong.
Thank you.
And then Don Rat, the highest score of the week. Man, you're on a rampage. You feel like you got that number 1 seed on lock for the finals?
No, I thought I had it on lock 2 weeks ago, and then I lost, and James won, so I got really nervous again. So until Christian McCaffrey gets rolled out for the next 2 weeks, I don't feel confident.
All right. Well, so we're going to get into some super fun Thanksgiving Day awards here shortly. First of all, we want to thank our sponsors, Everyman Jack, for supporting the show. Please check them out if you haven't already. This just in, everyone who participated in the fantasy football Divine Interception Best League is going to get an Everyman Jack product of their choice. So be sure to let me know what product you want to try out. And that's my thank you for being a part of this league, and Everyman Jack's thank you for making the rest of the world smell amazing. So that's also not a joke. Please let me know what you want so that I can get that to you. Also, I'm curious, do you guys think we should be extending the trade deadline? Now, I only ask that because our league is so active and we're all trying to get into the playoffs. Week 10, in some ways seems a little early. Like I still have some moves I want to make. I want to offer another 3 trillion trades to try and get Tyreek Hill. But what are your thoughts? Let's start with Mass. Mass, do you think we should extend the trade deadline week? Why or why not? And if so, what week do you think we should cut it off at?
I don't think that we should extend it because I was in a league a couple of years ago where it got extended because of the same logic, and it ended up that one of the people who was guaranteed not to be in the playoffs was trading people away for Chipotle. So, so I'm not a fan of it. I know that there's the threat of having the license plate, so that kind of makes more sense as why people wouldn't tank. But yeah, I'm still not. I put everything into that deadline, so.
James, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, honestly, you can make the trade deadline even earlier. I hate getting trade offers. It just makes me feel bad. I feel like I'm getting bamboozled all the time. I don't know if I'm getting tricked or if I'm getting something offered good, and I don't know how to do trades very well, so I don't like to send them out. I hate the trade, and then I feel like everyone hates me, even though I know you're sending trillions of requests to everybody all the time, but it doesn't do anything good for my heart or my soul. So go ahead and make the trade deadline week 4. I don't care.
All right, now to the man who brought trading to our league, Zach. What are your thoughts?
Barring any sort of trading for Chipotle or anything like that, with the 12-man, I don't think I'd mind even moving it back to week 11 as the deadline, just because like the benches, everybody's or the waiver wire is so thin, and like I know for me, like there's really a lot of trades right now. Alex just lost some quarterbacks, and I have 2, so situations like that. But at the same time, you know, where it is right now, it works, and I'd hate to extend it, and it kind of impacts the league negatively.
Yeah, so again, this is our going into our 6th year of this league. Thankfully, we don't have anyone that tanks, and obviously there's a punishment system for people that try to do that. Just something to get thoughts to, and I know you have a few different opinions. I wouldn't mind extending it just one more week. Again, like Zach said, there's actual NFL teams that are trying to make the playoffs, and certain ones that are kind of like cruising at the moment, and that affects, you know, fantasy football as well. So yeah, something to vote on, I think would be good. Now we're going to get into our Thanksgiving Day awards, our Turkey Day superlatives. I'm going to give you guys the description of an award, and then you guys are going to give me players that you think merit that award and why. So our first award, for instance, is the Turkey Award. Now, turkey is not liked by everyone, but it's a staple every year. You can't have Thanksgiving without turkey. You have to have it, but here's the thing. Who actually likes turkey on Thanksgiving? Everyone always says it's super dry, but every now and then you get that turkey that is life-changing. The smoked turkey that is smoked so perfectly, the fried turkey that is so juicy and succulent, and then you have what is called a game changer. So for this award, I would put up kickers and tight ends because I hate those positions. I would advocate we get rid of all kickers and all tight ends, and we just have more flex spots. But if I'm going to put up a real person for this award, how would you guys like a running back who has been since week 7, running back 13, 16, 7, and then gets to play the Bengals this week? I would say that sounds like a pretty good running back. Wayne Gallman is my Turkey Day award. So he's a great staple. You either love him or you think he's already played out, but he's my Turkey Day award person. All right, Mast, who's your person?
Well, I have a receiver that for the last few years, I would say he's more of a turkey. This year, he's been more juicy than dry. I also don't understand all the turkey hate that is coming over here. I love turkey, but I have Will Fuller. This year, he's been a lot better, especially just because Hopkins is gone. but he still has the proclivity to just disappear, and he gets injured a lot. He's not my favorite player to just start and expect at least 10 points every week. So I have Will Fuller.
Zach?
This might be an interesting choice, but I went with Larry Fitzgerald. I just feel like he's a player that's going to get picked up every year. He's going to sort of disappear like Will Fuller, but he's going to have those games. And if there's somebody who knows how to cook a bird, it's Larry Fitzgerald, because he just loves to burn the Eagles whenever he plays them. So,
Yeah, he's actually coming off a really good game last week against the Seattle defense. So it's funny. I don't actually know if he's rostered right now by anyone in our league. All right, James, who do you think is the Turkey Day Award?
Well, since it happens every year on Thanksgiving with the Cowboys in Washington, the football team are going to be playing. I'm going to put Ezekiel Elliott there for the Turkey Award. You know, I think this year he's had some decent games, but he's put up kind of a lot of duds. I think he's got a lot of pressure on him, but at the same time, he can be juicy, and I think he might show up for Thanksgiving.
All right, guys. So now we have to pick a winner. I like James's pick. Zeke, I think, is a really good. He is a staple. He's not a big explosive guy like Saquon or Kamara, but man, he gets the job done. I'm gonna go with Zeke. You convinced me. All right, Mash, who do you think deserves this out of the choices presented?
I'll give a vote to Mr. Elliott. Sure.
All right. Well, Zach, we don't need your vote on this, but
I want it.
Yeah, I want it too. So who you going?
I
with?
would go ahead and say Will Fuller.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think Will Fuller would be a good contender for one of our other awards coming up. But yeah, so Zeke, congratulations. You should be getting in the mail our Turkey Day Award. So thank you, sir, for being deliciously dry. And we hope for Matt hopes for a good juicy game coming up here pretty soon. All right, next is the Ham Award. So some would argue that it's better than turkey. I know that certain families have even replaced having a turkey with only having ham. Now those might be Spanish families that I know of, but still they replace the turkey with the ham. Some would say it has no place at Thanksgiving, and it's actually a Christmas food. So who gets the Ham Award masked?
I'm going with Miles Sanders because he can totally explode, and you just feel like every year or every game that he has a chance to just go off, and all offseason talking about him being the number one back and how he's so much better than Turkey. And now he's just like, he's playing a lot, but now he has Boston Scott taking snaps from him. So I'm going to go with Miles Sanders.
All right, James, who's your Ham Award?
Who's my Ham Award? You know what? I think I'm going to go ahead and put up the quarterbacks against each other. I'm going to go with Patrick Mahomes being the Ham because, as you said, turkey is usually around every year. Tom Brady has been the turkey, and he sure was a turkey last night, throwing that interception at the very end there. But a replacement awesome meal quarterback would be Patrick Mahomes to me to replace him.
I like that logic, the way you this is a very creative answer. Zach, who do you got as the Ham Award?
Without a doubt, Kirk Cousins. You know, he'll sort of have a game and everybody will think he's great, but really, you know, football's not about him and he's not about football because he is quite honestly horrible. So yeah, specifically focusing in on that last sentence, some would say it has no place at the table. I agree with even using the word it. I wouldn't even call him he, because I have that little respect for him as a quarterback.
Hey, he finally won a Monday night game against the Bears, so you know.
And I'm sure he'll get a huge contract for it.
So I also picked a quarterback for this award, which I think is funny. I picked Josh Allen, and here's my logic. Some call Josh Allen elite. The first 4 weeks, man, he was elite, and some say he has no business being up there with the elite quarterbacks of the world, the Patrick Mahomes, as mentioned earlier, the Lamar Jacksons, maybe not this year. Why can't I think of him? Who's the quarterback for the Cardinals?
Kyler Murray.
Kyler Murray. There we go. All I could think of was Christian Kirk, and I was like, he's not the quarterback. Yeah, Kyler Murray. So I picked Josh Allen because some people are saying he is going to be the MVP of the season. Some people think that he's just another streaming quarterback, and maybe that's the argument to be made with Zach not even playing him over Justin Herbert. So I guess we're going to come down to this. Mass, who's your vote?
Yeah, I like your input. I'm going to go with Allen. I was going to go with Kirk Cousins there. You're really convincing, Zach, but he just outdueled you. Sorry.
All right, Zach, are you sticking with Christian Kirk? Kirk Cousins?
Yeah, I would say Kirk Cousins. I could pick Josh Allen just because he's a worse version of Jake Locker, but I'm going to stick with Kirk Cousins.
All right, James?
I too agree. I like Kirk Cousins, so I'm gonna go ahead and stick with him.
All right, so I guess we're. Oh man, yeah. I you know what? We need to award this to somebody. Zach, I think you made a very good argument. I like my Josh Allen, but I don't like ties. So yeah, Kirk Cousins, I think is a fine pick for this. So congratulations, Kirk Cousins. You're gonna get our holiday ham, courtesy of Divine Interception. So mac and cheese, it's comforting. It's warming. It makes everything taste better. That's why you can have mac and cheese every day of the year, and it's a great day. So who is the mac and cheese winner? Zach, who just won the last round. Zach, who gets the mac and cheese award?
I think Brandon Cooks, because, you know, he always has success on whatever team he is. He's sort of a big name, but not a huge name. Some people love him, but nobody hates him. So Brandon Cooks, you know, he's just,
I like that.
He's good for it. Yeah.
Yeah, let Brandon Cooks. All right, Mast, who you got?
I have Cook minus the S, Dalvin Cook, because he likes to put up 47 points against the guy with the best record in the league. You're never going to sit him. He's delicious on any day, 4 a.m, 7 a.m., doesn't matter. Mac and cheese is always on the menu. Dalvin Cook.
I hate Dalvin Cook. All right, James, who you got?
I'm gonna go with my boy Christian McCaffrey. You know, he is a stud. Although he's hurt this year, he brings me comfort. Just having him on my lineup, you know that when he is going to be good and ready to be served, he's going to really deliver. And so he's just an awesome thing to have, and you never want to let him go.
So, man, guys, I love our thinking. I also went with a running back. I went with Alvin Kamara. Every year, he is a top draft. He's one of the elite drafted. I remember his breakout year. We all tried to make a bid for him. I missed out on him. I had $14 bid on him, as well as I don't know who. I think it was maybe Chad who picked him up. And he also bid 14, but he had the priority, so he got him over me. Yeah. That being said, man, I'm already gonna vote on this one because I'm the host. Zach, I loved your answer. Brandon Cooks, you're right. No one hates him, and he's a 1,000-yard receiver. He's done it with the Patriots. He's done it with the Rams. He's done it with the Saints, and yeah, that's a great answer. Now he seems to be on pace to squeeze out another 1,000 yards with the Texans. So I'm giving my vote to Zach. Zach, who are you voting for? Are you sticking with Brandon Cooks?
I really like everybody's answer, but I'm going to stick with Brandon Cooks. Although I will say Christian McCaffrey has brought me a lot of comfort this year as well, James. So
that's only because you have Mike Davis. So
yeah.
You have the comfort of having his backup. All right, Mast.
I'm going to go with Christian McCaffrey just because nobody can hate him. especially the Mike Davis owners and the people who do have him. They can't hate him either because they have to expect that he'll come back and dominate. So.
All right. And James, I'm assuming you're sticking with CMC?
I would stick with CMC, especially if he can sneak into the playoffs. Then he gets healthy by then, I should be set.
All right, excellent. So, you know what? He's had a rough year. Let's go ahead and send CMC some mac and cheese courtesy of Everyman Jack. So thank you so much, CMC, for being so good to us. Just remember, I've had you since your rookie year. You've been my favorite player in the league, and I loved you before everybody else, including your mother and father. So, all right, the Sweet Potato Casserole Award. So the first few bites of any sweet potato casserole, you get that burnt marshmallow, the warm gooiness, sweet potato. It's absolutely amazing. 3 bites afterwards, you're like, I'm so sick to my stomach. My teeth are cringing with sugar. You can't have too much of it. And if you do, you're going to want to vomit. So my sweet potato casserole award goes to James Conner. You start off every year just looking like this is it. This is the year. You're elite. You're amazing. You're going to be a top 10. You're going to be the workhorse. You're going to catch balls. You're going to run balls. And then after week 4, you're like, please, someone take James Conner off my hands. I can't deal with the anxiety of James Conner. So he's my contender for the Sweet Potato Casserole Award. James, as the owner of James Conner, are you going to agree or are you going to put forth another name?
I mean, I have to agree with you, but just for the sake of being different, I'm going to go ahead and put forth another name. And not so much because I think this person's all that great, but I'm going to go ahead and say that my sweet potato is Jimmy Garoppolo, because especially if you're a 49er fan, he comes to the San Francisco Niners. Everyone thinks he's from the Patriots. Bill Belichick had him. He's going to be solid. He's going to be good. He leads you to a Super Bowl. Well, leads you to a Super Bowl. And you think, this guy's awesome. I love him. He's perfect. And then he gets injured all the time. He actually isn't great. He's highly overrated, just kind of like sweet potato. And, it's not all that great. And I do want to vomit when I watch him play, which I'm not going to get to watch him play because he's hurt again.
All right, Mast, are you going to go with another system quarterback? Who do you present with the Sweet Potato Casserole Award nominee?
I'm going to go with the number 18 player overall and the number 4 wide receiver. And you would never guess, it is not DK Metcalf, it's Tyler Lockett. He likes to have giant games. So when you first bite into him, I guess that you taste good, like a 45-point game against Arizona, 32-point game against Dallas, following a 16-point game against New England, but then he just disappears. And if you buy high on him, you're going to regret it because he has a lot of single-digit games. So if the trade deadline hadn't happened yet, I would buy on him now because he's had a few single-digit games recently. But I'm going to go with Tyler Lockett.
All right, good contender. Zach, who you got?
Sort of in the same vein as Mass, I went with Deshaun Jackson. I think Tyler Lockett, being a younger player, probably is more applicable, but I went with Deshaun Jackson. Same reasons.
Yeah, I can see it again. Yeah, week 1, Deshaun Jackson is always in line for some serious points, just like Marvin Jones is on Thanksgiving Day. But I'm sticking with James Conner as the winner of this award for myself. James, who are you voting for?
Well, since I do have James Conner, and I would agree with you, I think, I'm going to go with James Conner.
Mast?
I'm going to have to go with Deshaun Jackson just because he's broken my heart by getting hurt every year. So.
All right, Zach?
I'm going to say Jimmy Garoppolo because I think he's not what people think he is, especially after the first bite, so.
You know what? There's always sweet potato casserole left over at Thanksgiving, and then you end up throwing it out. So we can send a little bit to every one of these players. Thank you guys so much for the heartbreak and the wonderful joy when we play you. Will Fuller, you've been that player for me in the past. And so, I like the answers. Tyler Lockett, you get 2 servings this year of sweet potato casserole. All right, the mashed potatoes award. This is maybe my favorite award we're gonna do. They're boring. There's nothing special about mashed potatoes. No one's ever like, wow, you got to go try these mashed potatoes at this restaurant. They're incredible. They're boring, but they're dependable. You know what you're getting. It's nothing flashy. You can take them silky. You can take them chunky. Mashed potatoes are just a staple food. Zach, who is your mashed potato nominee?
So there's a lot of people I feel like I want to pick for this, but just because his name isn't so big, I think Nick Chubb would be like a perfect example of mashed potatoes. You know, he's there, he's reliable. You know what you're getting. There's nothing flashy, but like he does it and he's good at it too. So.
I think he still leads the league for most 20+ yard rushes. And he obviously missed a significant amount of time, which is insane. Georgia boy, love that. All right. James, who is your mashed potatoes nominee?
I think for me, this particular person's on my team. I'm going to go with Aaron Rodgers, especially this year. He hasn't been anything where he's been crazy getting you close to 40-point games, but he's been very consistent when it comes to being in the 20, like mid 20s, high 20s or low 20s. He hasn't really had too many games below. I think he had one game where he was at 3 points, which every once in a while you get that mashed potatoes. But otherwise, he's been consistent. You know, he's had some gravy, but nothing outstanding. So.
All right. Yeah, I would have. So, man, I had so many players come to mind for the mashed potato. I would have picked. I was going to put Robert Woods and feel so good about that. He's boring. No one ever wants him. Yeah, I love him, but man, last night he got that gravy. Like, oh my word, he was incredible. So I'm actually going to put forth a player who I tried to trade for really hard because he's boring, and I still couldn't get him. David Montgomery. He is the 10-point person week in and week out. He should be a top 5 running back, but he never is. He's a standard, solid RB2. People don't love him. They love to hate on him. He plays for a bad team. But David Montgomery is my boring, dependable running back. And I think, you know, he is what he is, and he'll get the job done. Mass, who's your mashed potato nominee?
You know, I was going to say Melvin Gordon because you're not going to drop him, and he's going to get at least some points every week, but I love your Montgomery answer. And he kind of goes along the same vein as Allen Robinson. It's like any player in the Bears doesn't have a high ceiling, but they're going to get a lot of touches, and I guess we'll see what they can do with it, but usually not much. So I'm going to agree with you and vote for Montgomery.
Okay, so Zach, who do you vote for?
I'll hop on the Montgomery bandwagon.
Okay, I liked the Nick Chubb answer, but man, I think Nick Chubb is a spicy meatball. Like, man,
he's maybe too big of a star right now.
Yeah.
I have to say I hate that answer. I hate the Nick Chubb answer.
I think out of all the elites, he definitely is the mashed potato of the elites. All right, James, who's your final vote?
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and round it and do Montgomery.
All right, Monty Python is going to get a nice bowl of mashed potatoes because that's what you are, man. And maybe a few extra pounds will help you get into the end zone a couple more times. All right, the stuffing. I'm not sure if anyone really likes stuffing or enjoys stuffing. You can buy it boxed, you can make it at home. It pretty much is the same no matter what you do. It's served everywhere. No one would care, though, if someone just forgot to bring the stuffing. No one would care if it went missing. And some would even say things get better if there is no stuffing. So, James, who is your stuffing nominee?
I think my stuffing nominee, another person on my team, is going to be Mr. Antonio Brown. I'm not sure anyone really likes Antonio Brown. He's kind of everywhere with all his complaints and all his drama around the league and outside of the league. And I honestly think if he went missing, life would be better for a lot of people because he is kind of a diva. But, you know, he's been kind of consistent, had a lot of targets the last 2 weeks. So I'll give him that much. But, yeah, I would consider him my stuffing.
Man, that's a good answer. Mast, who's your stuffing award?
Man, poor Antonio Brown just getting dunked on. But I'm going to go with Ronald Jones, because there are games like last week, not this week 11, week 10, where he had a 98-yard touchdown, just goes off. But if he were to disappear, Leonard Fournette would be an all-star. So Ronald Jones, if you just went away, everyone would be happy.
Last night I was looking up to see if like Ronald Jones got like in an accident or something. Like I didn't even see him. Like, and I was like, what's up with Leonard Fournette? Like, I'm playing against Ronald Jones, and in the back of my mind every night I'm like, oh no, he's gonna break off a long touchdown or catch a pass. And man, I don't know where he went last night. That was weird. Zach, who's your stuffing award?
I went with, first of all, I love stuffing, but besides that, I went with Matt Ryan, just because, I always say he's like one of the best of the non-elite quarterbacks, but I would just like to see what the team could do without him. And if he went away, I don't think a lot of people would miss him, even though he's a great quarterback relative to the rest of the league. So Matt Ryan.
There are 6 million people in Atlanta turning over right now at even hearing you say that. Like, you don't want to see how bad we can play if you take away Matt Ryan. We would literally be maybe one game better than the Jets. All right, so my person, I forgot to list them. Mark Ingram. And here's my argument. Like, he's been solid in the past. Like, he's always had a ton of value. If you bought into him this year as the lead running back, you thought that you were getting a steal in the 4th round. But how many times have you looked at the waiver wire and seen J.K. Dobbins, seen Gus Edwards, and been like, man, if Mark Ingram would just go away and retire or just be injured, these players could really shine. So for that reason, Mark Ingram is my nominee for the stuffing award. Also, someone who at one point was on James's team. James, I did like your answer with Antonio Brown. But who do you vote for?
I'm going with Antonio Brown. I'm going to stick with him.
Mast?
I'm going to stick with mine. It's my favorite pick so far is Ronald Jones.
Zach?
It's tough between those two, but I'll probably go ahead and say Antonio Brown.
Man, I really like my answer in Mark Ingram, but yeah, in some ways he came to town and ruined it for everybody. So I'm going Antonio Brown as well. So AB, you get some stuffing, and yeah, hopefully you get your life right, man. You need Jesus, so figure something out there. All right, cranberry sauce. You love it or you hate it. Some people refuse to eat Thanksgiving Day meals without some cranberry sauce. Others loathe it, and it makes them cringe at the gelatinous canned jelly substance that is cranberry sauce. It's weird. It's gross. I would say it's a palate cleanser between the food that everyone actually wants to eat. It gives your taste buds a break from all the saltiness that's going on everywhere else. So, Mass, who is your cranberry sauce nominee?
JP, where do you think Robert Woods is ranked in the wide receivers for points scored this year?
18th.
He's 10. And I never would have guessed that. But yeah, he's a staple apparently. But after last night, Robert Woods, and I wouldn't feel confident starting him every week, but apparently you have to. Because he's just Robert Woods, and he's going to get those jet sweeps and stuff. So, like you said.
Great answer. So I put Juju Smith-Schuster down because, again, like he's great, but you really want Chase Claypool, or you really want a healthy Deontay Johnson. But you'll take Juju in between and see what you got. He'll get in the end zone. Mast, I'm already going to vote for you, though. I love the Robert Woods answer. That's a great answer. Zach, who do you got?
For me, it's an easy pick, and it's Giovanni Bernard. For me personally, I can't go a season without drafting him or having him on my team. The Bengals aren't the Bengals without Giovanni Bernard coming up, stepping up for a game and blowing up. And I love those little kind of like shifty, short running back types. And, it's not football if you don't watch Giovanni Bernard one game out of the year at least.
All right, that's definitely a solid answer. You're right. You drafted him, and I think we've all had the one night stand with Giovanni Bernard on our team at some point. So, James, who do you got?
I think I'm going to put forth Adam Thielen as the cranberry sauce. You either love him or you hate him. He gets some good games out there. Sometimes you think he's pretty consistent. Then he has other games where it's like, where were you, dude? And so, you love having him on your lineup, but you never know really what you're going to get.
All right, I'm changing my vote. I'm going with Adam Thielen. I hate Adam Thielen. He's cost me a championship. He's made me lose so many games. I despise him. I'm sorry, Mass. I love Robert Woods. He's a great answer. I hate Adam Thielen so much. You got my vote, man. Mass, who are you voting for?
I'm going to go with Giovanni Bernard because I hate cranberry sauce and I hate having him on my team.
All right, Zach.
Giovanni Bernard.
All right, and James, who you got? You switching over to the Geo train? I mean,
I don't even know who Giovanni Bernard is. He got a cool name. I'll go with Adam Thielen.
All right. Just so we can award a winner, I'm going Gio. I don't want to give Adam Thielen anything. So Giovanni Bernard, congratulations, Mr. Mustache Man himself. You get some cranberry sauce. The Burnt Dinner Roll Award. You've worked really hard on everything else, making sure everything is perfect and hot, fresh, and ready. And the rolls aren't gonna be too labor intensive. You want to serve them delicious. You want to serve them fresh because there's nothing worse than a cold roll. But alas, you left them in the oven without a timer. You got distracted after the amen. You forgot to go back to the oven and pull them out. And now you have burnt dinner rolls. You still got to serve them. There's no other option. And people are going to eat them. They're going to scrape off the chars and, just put some butter on there and you'll be happy. And so who's the burnt dinner roll award? Dude, it's Kenyon Drake. And Kenyon Drake, I thought I was getting the number 5 running back on the season in round 2. I would have taken him in round 1. I was so confident in his delicious pass catching abilities and the way they used him last season. I almost tried to trade for him last year because I knew he was going to go to a good team. He's been good. He was good at Alabama. He's been good in the past, but now I'm stuck having to play him. I'm stuck putting him in my lineup and hoping and praying every week he finds the end zone with 80% of the touches in the backfield. So Kenyon Drake, man, you are my burnt dinner roll award, and that is not a compliment, sir. Zach, who do you got?
A very strong OBJ. If he comes to you, I've had this problem. I'm always afraid he's going to come to me in the draft. And when he does, I can't not pick him up. But I know he's just going to, basically just be a burnt dinner roll. And, I feel very strongly about that. I think he fits that sort of example perfectly.
He was also on my list. I don't disagree. And here's the thing. He burns you and he burns other people. He burned his own team in real life, man. Yeah. He's a hard player to deal with. James, who's your burnt dinner roll guy?
I think my burnt dinner roll is going to be Amari Cooper. I just, sometimes I get excited about him when I see him in the draft. I think, okay, that's a big name, good receiver on the Dallas Cowboys. And then, he's just okay. He ends up getting burnt. Whatever.
Yeah, he's good for half of the season. You never know if it's the first half or the second half. But real quick when it's not his season. So Mast.
Like when you think of dinner rolls, you think of something that you can't really screw up, and then they end up being burnt. And I think of Lamar Jackson on my team, somebody I traded for and got rid of Kyler Murray, unfortunately. But he's just super average this year, and everyone knows what he's doing. And I just find myself screaming at the TV to run because they're trying to make him into more of a drop back kind of quarterback like Michael Vick was doing at the end of his career. But he's just not that good. He's just a bad quarterback, and he should just run. And I think he should also be able to be played as a running back. So
Yeah, I like everyone's nominees. Obviously, I think these are all people we've loved and hated, even in the same game. I feel very strongly about my Kenyon Drake, so I'm sticking with him. He is just so dissatisfying, but I keep gnawing at him, just hoping something will eventually tick. Zach?
Just because sort of expectations for Odell Beckham were faded this year. I'm gonna go ahead and say Kenyon Drake as well. I was expecting him to do well, especially on that team and the personnel they have, but obviously nothing has really turned out for him. So
Here's the sad thing too. I keep thinking he's going to turn it around, and I'm like, we're in week 12. Like, how much time do you have to turn it around, James?
yeah, you would. I'm in the same boat. I feel like something's going to click and it's going to be fine, but we're pretty late in the season at this point.
James?
I'm going to go with Lamar Jackson as well. I think he looked like such an exciting player last year. Him and Patrick Mahomes, Russell Wilson, they're all killing it. And Russell Wilson and Patrick Mahomes are still doing very well. And Lamar Jackson has just kind of, been there, I guess. So I'm going with him.
Yeah, again, Lamar Jackson in the first round was not crazy. And when Chad did it, I was like, man, that's early. But if he does what he did, like, he is just a difference maker. And then, yeah, trading for Lamar, like, man, and even now he's still scary. Like, I'm like, oh man, I don't want to play against Lamar, but yeah, it's just like, oh, is he really going to do anything? Mast, are you sticking with Lamar? Or are you going with Kenyon Drake?
just so that we have a clear winner, I'll pick against myself and go with Kenyon Drake, just because last year he came on so strong at the end of the year after they traded for him, and I was like, oh, this is going to be the featured back, and he's in that awesome offense with Kyler Murray. He's going to be really good, and he's just been meh. So.
Yeah, Kenyon Drake is the burnt dinner roll, and then Kyler Murray is the person that brings home the cheddar biscuits or the buttery croissants, and you're like, why are we eating this? Like, give me the good stuff. So yeah, Kenyon Drake, definitely burnt dinner roll award. All right, desserts. So apple pie, pumpkin pie, pecan pie. I guess at Thanksgiving, you really only have pies for dessert. It looms at the end of the Thanksgiving meal after you've feasted and you've gorged yourself on all this delicious food. This is the thing that shall be eaten before you feel satiated. Pie is as iconic to Thanksgiving as the turkey itself. Mast, who is the Thanksgiving dessert award winner?
Well, this is a player that I would love to have on my team. However, he's not even in the system anymore, and that's Pat McAfee. If he came out of retirement, I would have to pick him up, and I'd have to start him just just for the joke. I'd put the rest of my waiver dollars, which isn't much, the rest of my fab money in there just to get Pat McAfee, because he's hilarious and I love him. So there.
What a funny. He has a podcast, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. James, who is your dessert award winner?
I think my dessert award winner, I also would love to have this person on my team, and they are in fact still in the system, is Alvin Kamara. I think he's a solid player. He has, he's shown up, most consistently, it seems like, high score other than last week. But I think if you're thinking playoff wise, coming up to the matchups he has at the very end, it's like the ultimate icing on the cake or dollop of vanilla ice cream on the apple pie. So I would choose him as my dessert.
All right, Zach.
I think my answer goes without saying, but it's Jake Locker, because you can't spell MVP without Jake Locker MVP. And there's nothing sweeter like dessert than sitting down watching a football game and saying they would have won if Jake Locker was their quarterback, as opposed to somebody like Lamar Jackson or one of the burnt dinner roll nominees. So.
All right, so I had a few options here. I almost put down Cooper Kupp, but when I think of an icon in the NFL and fantasy football, somebody you want to have, but you're also like, oh, I don't know if I really have room for you. Keenan Allen, he is always disrespected. He is always drafted late. He was, I don't know, like maybe a fourth to sixth round possibility this year. Keenan Allen, since Justin Herbert has come on, is just reminding everyone why he is an elite route runner. He's not just a 50-50 ball catcher, why his metrics are off the chart. Every year, I never want to draft Keenan Allen. Every year, I think of how I can trade for Keenan Allen. And you know that the shoe could fall off at any moment, but man, that guy just is an awesome asset to have on your team. And so, yeah, Keenan Allen is my dessert nominee. Mast, you sticking with your answer or you're switching?
Yeah, I gotta stick with Pat McAfee because I mean it when I say I would drop somebody to pick him up, even if he hadn't come out of retirement yet and he was still in the system.
All right, James.
I think I'm gonna go with Keenan Allen. I think you made a good argument and you convinced me.
Zach.
I can't not pick Jake Locker. Same thing as Mass. You know, if he was in the league tomorrow, I would start him tomorrow or Sunday.
All right. Yeah. Well, I'm sticking with Keenan Allen. So Keenan Allen, congratulations. You get a bunch of pie this year. So don't throw a pie in our face. All right. So now we have got to quickly run through these matchups. All right. We're starting with no less than Gobble Gobble, the turkey man himself, the Thanksgiving feaster and king, Gobble Gobble versus JP. So Eric is lucky that this holiday has his name after him. And that's good because he needs to get lucky with a tight end. Cook isn't going to cut it. Mike Gesicki that you have on your team might be a good fill-in. Maybe I'll get lucky and Eric will be so focused on the Thanksgiving feast that he'll forget to set his lineup like he did when he played James. And yeah, Harris might get a bump with Burkhead out for the season, but I think James White is going to be a better pass catcher than Harris. So I'm feeling good about my team, which is not good because every day or every week that I feel good about my team, I end up losing, or last night almost losing. But you know what? My team is solid. Hill is kind of hurting my Camaro draft stock, but I still think he has value. Unfortunately, Derrick Henry has to play Indianapolis again. But you know what? I'm cooking the bird this year. Eric, you're down. I'm picking myself as the winner. Mast, who do you got?
I have to pick Gobble Gobble just because he's named Gobble Gobble for Thanksgiving. I'm not sure if he's actually going to win, but if he's going to, it's going to be because Tyreek Hill gets 40 points, which he's always susceptible to do. And I honestly think Damian Harris could be really good. I think he's the best running back that's been in New England in a long time, actually. So if he has a breakout game, Cam Newton does anything like he does when all the pressure's on him, then maybe Gobble Gobble can sneak one out, and I can take the best record by myself for once.
All right, James, who do you got?
I can't. I feel bad. I just can't go with Gobble Gobble because he hasn't really shown. His team has been consistently bad, really all year, and your team has been consistently strong all year. And I don't really see Gobble Gobble pulling this off, even though it is his day. It's his turkey day. I really just can't go with him at all.
All right, Zach, what are your thoughts and who do you got?
I'm going to have to go with Gobble Gobble. I did a bit of a dark horse pick. I think Big Ben's going to have not a great game. I think Derrick Henry, I love him. I don't think he's going to hit those 15 points. You got Kenyon Drake in there, so who knows as far as him. But, I think Gobble Gobble could go ahead and pull it out this week. I think he could win. If things tilt his way just a little bit, he could win.
Yeah, I don't hate the call. Nick Chubb, yeah, Cooper Kupp, Tyreek Hill, all solid pieces. Cam Newton, yeah, he, maybe he won't be a burnt dinner roll this year, so or this week. So, all right, we're going to Rhett versus Milkos. Rhett versus Milkos. You lose Burkhead due to an injury, Rhett, but hopefully David Montgomery is going to come back with his bowl of mashed potatoes and he'll be ready to go. Thielen, though, goes on the COVID list. What do you expect? He's Adam Thielen. But my question for you guys, so he has T. Higgins and he's been a really solid asset, but he loses Joe Burrow. So what is T. Higgins' value? Do you plug him, especially playing the Giants this week, or do you drop him and just move on from all Bengals pass catchers because of injuries? Zach, what are your thoughts?
I don't think it's someone you can drop, and I think it's somebody you got to start just because we're so far into the season where you can sort of see, well, I can get the ball to him and he can catch the ball. Like he's made some great plays this year. So I think Rhett should, I mean, he has no choice but to play him, but he's certainly not somebody you drop. Do you want my pick for the game as well?
Sure.
Okay. So none of that matters because Rhett's going to lose this week. So
okay. All right. Yeah. What are your thoughts, James, on T. Higgins' value? And then, even on, we'll just go through this matchup. Tell me what you think about T. Higgins. What do you do with him? And then, who do you pick?
Well, you can't trade him anymore because the trade deadline is up. I don't really think there's anyone that I want on the waiver above him. So I think I agree with Zach. You don't drop him. You have no choice but to play him, so you need to play him. And again, I also agree with Zach. I don't think Spice is going to win. I think this one goes to Milkos.
All right. Mass, what are your thoughts on T. Higgins? And then
I don't like T. Higgins at all now. I usually don't like rookie receivers anyway, but he was doing well. He's the number 28 wide receiver. Yeah, that's what it says. And he was doing well, but I think Joe Burrow is just such a step up from Ryan Finley or whoever the heck's starting there. So I might drop him, might just wait a week because it says here he's still got 10 targets. So I don't know. I think Joe Burrow went out kind of earlier in the game, if I'm not mistaken. So I don't know if he's still going to get a bunch of targets, but I would wait a week. I definitely wouldn't start him. Who's going to win the game? I would definitely not say Rhett because Burkhead's out. He's starting Cooper, who I don't trust. Thielen's on COVID. Even Julio Jones is questionable, it says. So yeah, I'm not betting on Rhett.
Okay, so yeah, here, looking at who's available, I agree. I think T. Higgins is probably droppable. I would rather take my shot on Hunter Renfrow. Let's see who. There was another name out there. Josh Reynolds. I thought he could be maybe someone who turns it up here at the end of the season. Even a dangerous threat like Henry Ruggs, I think are all better plays than T. Higgins. But that being said, man, Rhett has Tim Patrick, and Tim Patrick has been lighting it up lately. He's playing really well. Sterling Shepard is also a good target machine. I wish I didn't have to pick a winner in this game. This game is going to be ugly. It's going to be low scoring. It's going to be grinding it out. But I'm going to pick Rhett. I think Rhett is going to win this week against my brother. My brother is just, his team is littered with injuries. So, and there's nothing out there on the waiver wire really. So yeah, I'm going with Rhett just because of the slight advantage in depth that he has. Chad versus Alex. So Kyler is injured. And to be honest, he didn't look good on Thursday. I don't know if the injury caused him to play so poorly, but man, he looked rough. Duke Johnson is horrible. He rushed the ball 10 times last week for 15 yards. He and Giovanni Bernard are terrible running backs, which is just tells you how good David Johnson and Joe Mixon really are, because they make their teams look better. Gibson, though, looks great. On the other side of the ball, Alex has Taysom Hill. Do you guys feel comfortable starting Taysom Hill against Denver? Obviously, Tua got benched against their defense. Zach, what do you think? Do you roll with Taysom Hill again and just see what you got?
Yeah, I feel like this is one of those things where you got to go with your gut. And if your gut says play Taysom Hill, you'll feel a lot better losing with him than you would winning without him. Well, maybe that's not necessarily true, but I think you got to just go ahead and play him.
All right. James, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm looking at the waiver right now for available quarterbacks, and there's no one there that I'm really excited about or thinking would be, a better pickup. So I'd probably stick with Hill for sure.
All right. By the way, guys, we need to pick a winner for this game too. We need to get time going. I think Bell is a sneaky start. Alex, by the way, that's just what my gut tells me, but go with your gut. But I'm picking Chad as the winner. Again, better matchups, more depth. Let's run it back to Zach and then James. Pick your winners for this game.
Chad.
Yeah.
Okay. And then, so Mass, what do you think? You roll with Taysom Hill again, and then who do you got for this game?
Roll with Taysom Hill just because of the big week he had and how he runs the ball. But I don't think it's going to be enough to win. Going with Chad.
Okay. So Giovanni Bernard is Duke Johnson, maybe. Can't wait for that amazing matchup this week. Matt versus Jake Locker. Tom Brady versus the Chiefs. Zeke looked back in good form, but he had an interview following the game, said his hamstring still wasn't 100%. Zach, you have both your quarterbacks playing each other this week. Hoybs and Josh Allen, the Stallion, fighting it out this week. A.J. Brown is a man amongst boys. Waller against Atlanta is an amazing start. I can't wait to see what he does. And you know what? I like Zach Moss this week against the Chargers. So all that to say, like, I love you, Matt. You're a great brother. I can't wait to see you in the playoffs, but I have to go with Zach on this one. I have a gut feeling. So yeah, I'm going with Zach, but just barely. Smallest margin of victory. Mash, what are your thoughts and how do you advise our buddy?
I guess a lot of it has to do with whether or not McCaffrey plays, but from what it seemed like, he's not going to. So if that's the case, I definitely go with Zach. He's just a lot of green matchups over there, so it all looks good for him. McKissick, I don't know. I don't know if I'd start him over Parker, or especially obviously not Galladay, but I'm going to go with you, Zach.
All right. Hey, by the way, dude, I would start Josh Allen over Justin Herbert, but that's just me. Zach, what do you think about your own game?
So I'm planning to start Josh Allen. I think Justin Herbert's so great. He's going to put up a lot of points, and that's going to force Josh Allen to start running the ball and get a lot of garbage time touchdowns playing catch up. So I'm hoping that's what happens. Not planning to start McKissick. Hopefully Galladay if he's playing. I think assuming Matt doesn't have some players blow up, I could take it, but it also depends on Mike Davis playing. I'll go ahead and say myself for now. All
right. Well, you just buried your own grave. James, who do you got for this game?
Tell me about it.
I'm going to go with Zach as well. I do agree with Mass. I think it's going to depend on Mike Davis, but I think from everything I'm reading, they're probably going to rest McCaffrey. They have a bye week for the following week, so it sounds like that's probably in their best interest to keep McCaffrey sitting. And so I think Davis is going to actually be projected more and do more, which will put Zach over the edge.
All right, so we're moving on to Drew, Cast of the Future versus our co-host James. Aaron Rodgers versus the Bears. I don't love that matchup. And you know what? I don't know that James Conner gets it done this week against the Ravens, but my hope is they've been saving him, storing up his stamina to run him through the Ravens this week. He is, I think, still their best chance at winning, especially in the running back position. Drew has Ronald Jones and Fournette. My question to you guys, who do you start? Do you start both, and can they sustain enough volume to be reliable? Let's send this one over to James. It's your game. James, what is your advice for Drew, if you want to give him any advice? And then who do you think wins?
Oh man, that's a tough one. I mean, I would probably leave Ronald Jones in there over. Well, actually, that's a tough one. I really can't say, to be honest. Ronald Jones or Fournette. And I don't really want to say. I kind of maybe you should go ahead and put them both in for your running backs, and you'll be solid there. Because I don't necessarily like my chances. You know, Drew's got a lot of green matches this week, where I have a lot of tough defenses my guys are going to face up against. I don't think McCaffrey's going to be playing. Connor, it's frustrating because they get at the 1 yard line. Instead of having Connor run it in, they go ahead and let Snell sneak in there after Connor's had, you know, a lot of good productivity last week. And so I'm not very set on the running back stage right now without McCaffrey. So I don't really like my odds, but yeah, it's gonna be tight. I think Drew's gonna pull it off.
Okay. Mass, what are your thoughts?
I think it's going to be really close too. And for Ronald Jones or Fournette, I traded them both away because I hated having them. I hate Bruce Arians, the way he chooses his players every week. If you were to start one, I guess you just have to do the one that got more snaps last week, which is Fournette, in a close game. So I guess you'd have to do Fournette, but I would rather do neither. But yeah, I guess I got to go with Drew just because of his matchups. DJ Moore even looked good last week, and that was without Teddy Bridgewater. So hopefully, when he comes back, he can keep being good for Drew. So I'm gonna go with him. But yeah, I think I agree. It'll be really close.
All right, Zach.
You know, as far as the running back situation, that is really tough, and I'm sort of excited to look back at this video and see who did better. But I would probably say Ronald Jones. I think he's been more consistent with the team. I feel like Leonard Fournette's a better running back, but I would probably play Jones. As far as who's going to win, I think it's going to be Coach Cass. I'm expecting some duds from James's team. I think if he had Mike Davis, it might have helped out overall, but I'm going to go ahead and pick Coach Cass this week.
Yeah, I don't know what to advise as far as like roster moves that you could make. James, I think Reynolds and Renfro are great pickups, man. I think you should spend some fab and try to get a win this week. Obviously, you still have Stefan Diggs. He's a great player to plug in, so that'll help out your Christian Kirk situation. Yeah, I would just take a shot on somebody else. You don't need to roster, in my opinion, Matt Breida. I don't think he's going to add anything to your team. Pick up another player. I really, 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 really need you to win this week, buddy. So do me a favor and please pull out a win. And yeah, I'm going to go with Drew to get the reverse jinx so that you can win. Okay. So I'm going to go with Drew, but I got you, buddy. All right.
I reversed jinx of last week, which is why Zach won. So I said I was going to win.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, I like Rojo over Fournette too. In some ways, I think just with the defensive line on the Rams, they went with the bigger running back. Obviously, Ronald Jones isn't a huge running back, so I think that's why they played Fournette. At least that's my thinking. So I think Ronald Jones against Kansas City, though, is a solid start, and he's the better running back. So you got to cross your fingers, close your eyes, and go with it. Zach, you had something to add?
Just because James's place in the playoffs is pretty much all but secured, it would be cool to see James throwing some long shot players and just see if he can, get those names that nobody ever thinks about, but they just get, 30 points out of nowhere. That'd be pretty cool to see.
Yeah, I've tried that in the past. It doesn't work as well as you might think it would. With the bad loss to Chad and Donrat. So, all right, which brings us to our last game, Mast versus Carrie. Carrie needs a win to keep her playoff hopes alive. She has a chance this week. She has a lot of really good, favorable matchups. Miles Sanders. Carrie, you got to play Jonathan Taylor. I know it's brutal and I know it's ugly, but man, when he is on, he is on. He turned it up last week. I suggested that you plug him in. He had a good week. He's playing Tennessee. That defense is not scary. I think plug in Taylor, pull out Henderson. I don't want part of a committee running back, which is what you get with Henderson. Taylor should be the guy, and I know he's part of a committee, but man, he was drafted to be the guy. Chris Godwin against Kansas City, I like that a lot. Obviously Hawkinson is a great tight end this week. I don't feel great about CeeDee Lamb, but maybe you can make a bid on Renfro and see if he can get in the end zone. So all that being said, Mast, I'm going to ask that you sit all your players, just think about playoffs, keep them healthy. You don't want unnecessary injuries. Pull all of them and let Carrie have this win. But if I have to pick a winner, Mast, it's hard to bet against Dalvin Cook and Aaron Jones, but I despise both of them. So here's to hoping. Mast, who do you got?
Well, I really wanted to sit all my players, but they're just too prideful. They really want that best record. So I gotta start them. I'm sorry. And also, Sticker Girl started the season 1-0 against me in week 1, which was a terrible feeling. So I'm really, really hoping that I can pull out one against her just for pride. But yeah, a few of her players, it just feels like they could just explode against me. Like Miles Sanders could catch a bunch of screen passes and go off against that Seattle defense. Chris Godwin against Kansas City, and especially Calvin Ridley, he could have 3 touchdowns. And it would just be like, oh, that's another Calvin Ridley random game exploding. But all that being said, I'm going to go with myself just because my players would be mad if I didn't.
I didn't realize Carrie was going for the sweep. That's kind of fun. All right, Zach, who you got?
I would go ahead and say Don Rat, specifically because I think Sticker Girl's team hasn't really been reaching its potential. Her players haven't been reaching their potential. And between the two anchors of Aaron Jones and Dalvin Cook, it's really hard to bet against Mast. I also expect, the rest of his team to do pretty well. I would say you have a much better record than myself, so I can't really say. But I would go ahead and say maybe start Brandon Cooks. But I like Brandon Cooks a lot, so.
Yeah, I was thinking about that a lot. I went back and forth, and I can still go back and forth. But the only reason I'm leaning towards Fulgham is because Seattle gives up 50 more yards to wide receivers than the 31st ranked wide receiver defense against wide receivers. So I could still switch back, and Fulgham has had some duds last 2 weeks, but who knows? Hopefully he can thrive against Seattle.
Yeah. That's my same reason for almost starting Jalen Reagor. Also, it's funny, Zach, to hear that she didn't reach her full potential, which is great because even if her team not reaching her full potential, she still beat you in week 10. So guess she didn't need it to take you down.
Yeah, that's true. I got nothing to say about that other than the fact that my name's on the trophy.
Is it? All right, James, who do you got?
I think I'm gonna go the underdog and go with Sticker Girl. I do think she's got some potential for her players to blow up, like Massive mentioned. I think Lamar Jackson's going against Pittsburgh's defense. He was rough last week against Tennessee. Pittsburgh, it seems like they have a stronger defense, and so. But at the same time, Mass does have the Pittsburgh Steelers as their defense, so he might benefit from some of those sacks and fumbles or picks that could potentially come from that. But I don't know, just on the offset chance that Sticker Girl's team show up, I think she's got a chance for team to blow up.
You know what? I'm also going with Sticker Girl. It's just a gut feeling. I feel really good about her matchups this week. And I think Calvin Ridley, especially with, and I know he doesn't play extremely well with Julio Jones out, or I should say Matt Ryan doesn't play well when Julio Jones is out, but man, he's the option. And yeah, he could, show everyone why he was the number one wide receiver to begin with. So yeah, I got to go with Carrie on this one. So it'll be a fun Thanksgiving matchup. Super long episode, super fun episode. This has been my favorite episode so far. I can't wait to publish this. Thank you guys so much again for being in the league. Thank you, Zach, for not giving up on your season and for continuing to fight through. It makes it so much more fun. And again, you're, the undertaker of the season. I really appreciate that. Mast, thank you for, again, making trades happen, for being so vigilant and ruthless and dogmatic to get the players that you want. I think that's fun. It really keeps people at least looking at the app, and even if they reject your trade, they're going to go out there and see what's on the waiver wire. And I appreciate that. And James, as always, I think you bring a lot of spirit to the game. So I appreciate you being willing to do this with me. When I needed a co-host, you didn't even hesitate to say that you would be my guy every week. And it's been a lot of fun. I've loved watching you grow as a player too. Such a proud moment when you said, I don't need to roster 2 quarterbacks. Like, I was like, oh, my little baby boy is growing up right before my eyes. It was, it's super fun. Can't wait for next season. Man, it's going to be amazing. 12-man league. I was scared about what was going to happen. It's amazing. So much fun. Thank you guys. Have a happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy all your delicious sides, and yeah, enjoy time with the family. Don't even watch this video. So all right, you guys take care. Bye.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye.
Actually, hold on. I haven't cut it off yet. Who do you guys want to thank for the fantasy football this season? Zach, who do you want to thank?
I'm gonna go ahead and thank Donahue, just because he's one of my best friends, and it's so fun playing with him. He brings a lot of fire, and it's nice to just talk trash to him, even though he's crushing me in the league. And he served, and he makes this country safe enough so the rest of us could all play fantasy football. So I'm very thankful for my friend Donahue Mast.
All right, Mast, who are you thanking?
I'm going to have to thank Rhett Meelan, because if it weren't for him, I would have denied Zach begging me to be in this league. Yeah, I got to thank Zach, although his brother did not serve. So I'm going to have to go with Meelan for the sacrifice that he's made.
All right. One more thank you to add. I want to thank your wives for letting you guys do this stupid video with me every week. So shout out to the wives. What's your wife's name, Mast?
Rachel.
Okay, so shout out to Rachel. Thank you so much for letting him toy around with our emotions every week and bring some heat. James, who are you thanking?
Well, yeah, I guess thanks to my wife to let me do this show, especially tonight. It's a lot longer than normal, but the nice thing is our oldest is at her grandparents' house, so that's been a little easier just having one. But thank you, JP, for making the Fantasy Football League fun. I've been in other Fantasy Football Leagues where you just kind of play for bragging rights, but it is fun to actually have a consequence for coming in last place, even though I did come in last, and that's not fun. The nice thing is we all work from home now pretty much, so I don't have to drive that car. People to see that license plate. But it is still very embarrassing, but it's also fun to look forward to getting your name on the trophy and having a jersey to play for. That's exciting. It makes each game more meaningful, makes you want to actually try and do research and figure out, who should I play and who should I drop and who should I pick up. And And hey, I shouldn't roster 2 quarterbacks. That really made me think about that this year. So thank you for making the league fun.
Well, thank you guys. Yeah, you guys are awesome. Thank you for dedicating 13 to 16 weeks of your life to this. It's a quarter of the year, so I really appreciate it. I always want to make it fun and enjoyable, and I try to find ways to improve the league every year, which is why I care so much about what happens. I just want this to be the best league possible. And yeah, thank you also, James, for making terrible bets. And I can't wait to see that video of
I'm
2
feeling healthy. I'm
glasses
feeling
of milk
healthy.
and a mile. So
I
yeah.
should have it this weekend. I promise.
Okay, well, you have Thanksgiving off, so there's no excuse. So,
That's
no, I'm
right.
kidding. Don't ruin your Thanksgiving by doing that.
I'll
bet.
probably do it Friday. I have Friday off. I'll do it.
All right, so signing off. Thank you guys. Bye.
See ya.